Hello everyone, my name is Andrew, a film critic for FilmBook. Today I will be reviewing The Outpost. The Outpost is directed by Rod Lurie, written by Paul Tamasi and Eric Johnson, and it's based off the book by Jake Tapper, and it stars Scott Eastwood, Caleb Landry Jones, and Orlando Bloom. So if you know me, you know that I love me a good war movie. I hate war, but I love war movies. Kind of like football. I'm not a fan of watching football, but damn do I love a good football movie. What can I say? I like drama. This movie portrays what I feel like is a very, very realistic camaraderie between our soldiers. They're foul-mouthed, harping on each other without mercy, racial jokes, nothing is off balance for becoming an innuendo. These are just guys being guys under a tremendous amount of pressure where their lives could be over at any given second. This outpost that's set up in the middle of Afghanistan, just in the midst of our fiercest enemies. These guys even fight and argue amongst themselves in the middle of close quarters combat, which is not really something you see in war movies. But while bullets are flying, these guys aren't only bickering at times, but they're laughing and calling each other names because this is just their life, you know? And I love the brutal honesty this war movie goes for that I feel like most others overlook. There's a line in this movie that goes, it doesn't matter what kind of soldier you are, good or bad, anyone can die. And in this war movie, there's no lead A-lister actor, which means that anyone can literally be killed at any moment. Not literally be killed, but that would be, you know what I mean. Everyone is disposable. And I'm not saying that I think any one person is disposable, but according to the rules of war, that's just how it is. And this movie makes that abundantly clear. That's just the ugly truth that this movie highlights. There's a scene where our guys all know they're about to die, and we get to see their private phone conversations to their family members. And that is a real tough scene to watch. And as for the ambush that these guys have to fight through, let me just say that if Saving Private Ryan feels like a documentary, this movie feels like a bunch of movie clips from these guys' iPhones spliced together. I'm not saying this movie is as good or even comparable to Private Ryan, but it's certainly worth noting that the realism here is pretty convincing and it's pretty intense. And you know what? There's a reason for that. It feels so real because several of the soldiers were played by actual troops from Combat Outpost Keating, which is the outpost this movie is based on. The thing I'm gonna ding this movie for, and it's a pretty big one, is that there's no central character for us to focus on. And it's not necessarily an ensemble piece either, because with nearly an hour-long battle that takes up half the movie, there's no time to really get to know any of these guys. Now don't get me wrong, the movie did the best it could to give each guy his moment. But let's face it, it had two things going against it. One, it didn't have a 3-hour runtime, and two, it's not the Avengers. We didn't have a handful of other movies preceding this one. But I still highly recommend this movie because it treats the troops involved with such a high level of respect that's hard to find in movies these days. You can feel that the filmmakers had an absolute love for the story and these men. It even goes so far as to portray snippets of PTSD that thousands of these men and women suffer from after coming back from war. I'm gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10 because I believe it's one of those war movies that every American should see in order to appreciate what our servicemen have gone through for us. And I know it's pretty easy for us to forget from time to time what exactly the sacrifices they're making. And that brings us to the conclusion of my review for The Outpost. I'd like to thank you for watching. You can find more of my work here on FilmBook, that's film-book.com. Just search for Andrew Toy. And you can also find more of my video reviews on my YouTube channel, Andrew and Sarah Beth Toy. You'll find that link in the description below. If you like what you saw here, hit that like button, smash the subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell to get alerts for upcoming videos. Now here's the thing, if you disagreed with my review, still feel free to leave a comment down below, because if we agreed on everything, we wouldn't really have much to talk about now, would we? And lastly, please also consider becoming one of our patrons on Patreon. The link is in the description below, and your support helps us create more engaging content for you. Thanks for listening, and I will see you next time.